Namaste, everyone, and welcome. So here we are. I'm traveling, so I'm at the hotel, and sometimes things are unpredictable. So we just have to do what we need to do. So before we start, let's ask for divine blessing, shall we? To the divine supreme God, divine Father, Mother, to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, and spiritual helpers. Personally, to my teacher, Master Chok Hok Sui Mahaguji Mailing, we thank you for divine light, divine love, divine guidance, help, healing, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith, and so it is. Okay. So, hope all of you had a good weekend. So let's just talk a little bit about the mind. Always the issue here is like, are you the mind? Are you the body? Are you the emotions? So that's why I put in the title, are you mindless or are you mindful? Actually, it's both and neither at the same time. It depends on the context, all right? So it's something like this. You're moving your body is the instrument of the soul, the I. And then your emotions, your thoughts are the same thing. These are things that you use. So when you say the mind, oftentimes people think the mind is just a mental faculty. Like, oh, you're overthinking it. But if you really study it, the mind is basically composed of your emotional body and your mental body. All right? Now, to kind of quantify it a little bit, you actually have three segments of this mind. You have the instinctive mind, or to be more specific, the animalistic mind. This is a combination of your survival instincts, your emotions, the need to be recognized, the need to be understood, the need to be important, the need to eat, to drink, the desires, the wants. All those are part of the animalistic or more, let's just say, instinctive, like instinct, things you don't have to think of, you just do it, right? Sex drive, the need for money, need for this or that, all those come under the umbrella of, let's say, the animalistic or the instinctive mind. Most people that are not yet serious about their spiritual path, they're basically run by the instinctive or animalistic mind. So that's why if you look at the general public, you can easily stir them up. You just tell them something that, give them some significance. Oh, I'm important. And boom, people say, oh, yeah, that's right. And you tell them something that kind of makes them feel like, oh, the economy is going a certain direction and money will be affected. They go crazy because the instinct of needing attention, needing money, needing food, needing pleasure and all that, that is what most people basically run their life with. It's not good or bad. It's necessary for survival. But the problem is, if a person does not realize that these are just a bag of emotions and thoughts that are there that easily affect the I, they think that this bag of thoughts and emotions are identified as the person, the entity that's moving through life. You me so far? Again, it's not bad, it's important. It's what we need to survive, right? Now, above that, you have the intellect. Right? The intellect, the thinking. So this comprises more of the upper chakras. The intellect is very, very important because the intellect allows you to look at things, chop it down, analyze it, understand it, and use it. So that's the intelligence, the intellectual mind. Now, this intellectual mind is critical because it allows you to look at different concepts, especially abstract concepts, and be able to use them. Okay? So this is as humanity gets more educated. Education allows a person to think, to analyze, to compare, where the instinct just basically runs with what they feel. You so far? Again, you still have to realize, even the intellectual mind, as important as it is not the I. It is something that you use. So it's basically the intellect. Oftentimes it's laced with a little bit of emotion. So when you look at something, you go, yeah, we have to do this because it's important. Now part of you also, and I also want it. You get my point? Like when you rationalize stuff, you want a particular car, you want a particular house, you want it. So your mind, your intellectual mind turns, well, it's a good deal. It's in the right neighborhood. Or if it's a car, it has good horsepower, it has good utility, and so on, so on. And deep down it's because I want it. Get the idea? So at that point, same thing. It's another bag, a bag of emotions and thoughts, but it vibrates higher to allow the soul to use it to be able to control and regulate their life. You see, the animalistic part, it's not something you regulate. You can regulate it, but it's not something that naturally one regulates. Right? Like, you don't have to think, oh, I gotta go pee. You don't do that. You just naturally go pee. Or when somebody's insulting you, they say, hey, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're ugly, whatever. They tell you that, what happens? The animalistic mind will say, oh yeah? Well, you are too. Right? It's that survival part. The intellectual mind doesn't do that. The intellectual mind said, well, you're calling me stupid, but I have more accomplishments than you have, and your life is a big fat mess, so it doesn't compute. Get the idea? So that's the intellectual mind compared to the animalistic mind. But regardless, both of these are still not the I. Right? Then you go a little higher. This is the intuitive mind. This intuitive mind is oftentimes called the spiritual mind. So this spiritual mind is connected to bodhi. Bodhi, like you heard of the bodhisattva, the Buddha. It has to do with direct knowing. So this intuitive mind is the one that allows you to, people call, download information coming from the higher realms, information coming from the higher soul, and so on and so on. That is the part of the spiritual mind that allows you to connect with beyond the material, the emotional, the mental, to something even higher, the spiritual realm, which oftentimes we use spiritual realm, we just use it as a big gigantic umbrella of anything above the mental faculty. But in reality, there are many, many planes of existence, just like different floors in the building. So the intuitive mind is very, very, very important because it allows you to get a sense of connection with all. So when people say, oh, I'm feeling a oneness, I'm feeling connection with those people, that race, that nationality, that occupation, it's not the heart, it's actually the crown. The crown chakra, when it's more stimulated, allows you to have that spiritual mind be more real for you. However, these are still not the I. So the I, the spiritual self, the soul, uses the instinctive mind in order to be able to function in the material world. It can still regulate it. So for example, if certain foods, most of the foods that we love are not good for us, right? Most. I'm not saying all. I know you guys are going to argue with me. Oh yeah, but this is in general. I mean, if you stuff yourself with a big bag of sugar, or something big bunch of calories that make you fat, but it tastes good, what do? The I will say, okay, this stuff is not good to me. It's what my body wants, it's my animalistic mind wants, but it's not the I. So since it's not good for me, I choose to tell my body, you're not gonna have it. So the animalistic mind will fight you, right? So when you have somebody who has an addiction, basically the animalistic mind took over. That's what happened. Okay? That's why the general public, until you spiritualize them, until the earth, the population gets more spiritualized, they're run by the animalistic mind. Good luck with that. You always have chaos. That's why the key to true transformation is raising the frequency, raising the realization that first, you're not the animalistic mind. You control the animalistic mind. Then you educate people. As you educate people, the intellectual mind wakes up. So people say, mutual destruction does not make sense. If I bomb you and you bomb me, we're all gone. That's dumb. Right? But the animalistic mind will say, yeah, let's do it. Oh, yeah, I have a bigger bomb than you. I have a bigger rockets, bigger, so on and so on. That's the animalistic. The intellectual mind says, okay, that's stupid. That doesn't make sense. That's not logical. However, the mind is so intelligent that it'll also rationalize, yeah, but I want to dominate the world. So if that's the case, I still have to have bigger arsenal. They rationalize anything. So even then, it's not good enough because it'll still cause chaos, right? Then you go higher, you go, the intellectual mind. Above that is the intuitive mind, the spiritual mind. That's when you realize, well, not only is it dumb to hurt you because it eventually hurts me, There's this thing called the law of karma. We're all interconnected. So if I share love with you, I'm also loving myself. That makes more sense. Right? So it goes higher and higher. But even then, remember, the three minds are just tools of the I. Because when I'm observing something, I'm the observer. I'm observing, let's say, the greed, the sex drive, the need for attention. All that I get to observe it, so I could not be it. Make sense? Simultaneously, if I'm understanding a concept, the concept of gravity. Gravity and time. Interesting. So, if you're closer to the Earth, time runs a certain pace. When you're further away from the Earth, it runs slower. So if that's the case, that's time dilation. Okay, anyway, I'm getting weird on you. But the point is, even though no matter how this complex idea is there, you have to also realize, I'm examining that concept. So the examiner could not be what's being examined. So at some point you get to realize, I am the spiritual self, I'm this being or entity using this intellectual mind to understand complex material. By then, guess what? You're way ahead of probably 99% of the population. Okay? But our standards are higher. If you truly want to be enlightened, you have to go beyond that. So from there you go, the intuitive mind. Yeah, I do notice when I'm doing deep meditation, I experience a connection with all. Interesting. A oneness, a sense of connection, a sense of merging with all. Well, guess what? Who's noticing that phenomenon? The I. Who's observing it and noticing that, hey, I sense this connection? Who is regarding that sensation of connection? The I. So if that's the case, no matter how strong this connection is, this oneness connection is still not the I. So even then, the I is beyond it. That's where you go deeper into your center, your true self. Because you get to realize the body, the emotions, the thoughts, even the experience of connecting to everything, connection to God and everything, it's still not the I. Now, you're above 99.999% of the population. So, oh yeah, man, I feel so good. Okay, don't pat yourself on the back yet, because knowing it, oh, these are not the I, and living it are two different things. You know why? Because in our everyday life, these three minds are constantly pulling us. So, at some point, the syntax is so important. The order, the sequence is, first, you have to be mindless. When I say mindless, I'm not saying like you go crazy. Okay, whatever. Mindless means have a knowing that whatever this animalistic mind wants, it's not the I. The intellectual mind is not the I. The intuitive mind, still not the I. All these are basically bags of thoughts and emotions, just in different realms. So the first thing you have to realize is these are not the I. So you have to be mindless. However, once you have that realization, then you have to turn around and be mindful and say, this animalistic mind is not the I, but it's needed for my survival. So since it's needed for survival, I need to make sure I can make money, I can keep the body healthy, the needs and the wants of the body, sleep, food, and whatever else, it's necessary. Rest is important. So I have to be mindful, use my powers as the spiritual self and the soul to be able to regulate the needs and wants of this lower mind. So I have to be mindful. Mindful means I have to put my awareness over this period of time, over this subject, in order to regulate it. Then, same thing with the intellectual mind. You know, you don't want your mind to be jumping all over the place, which we usually do. That's why you notice you're talking to someone, and someone comes in and tells you, oh, by the way, the stock market is doing this, or the real estate, and then at some point you go, okay, what were we talking about? You notice that? So the mind jumps. So at that point, you lost control of the intellectual mind. So mindful, so the soul would just have to say, wait. I have to also regulate this intellectual mind. So I have to be mindful. I have to take this time and put my complete attention on this concept or whatever we're discussing, whatever I'm analyzing and breaking down. You get my point? So at first you become mindless. You extract yourself from it to be able to observe it. That these are my tools, my instruments. Then you have to go back and control it. Because without extracting yourself out of it, it controls you. Doesn't take a genius to figure it out, right? But you see, until it's explained to us by these great teachers, by the way, this didn't come from me, it was taught to me. What happens? Like most people that we know, they're basically a bag of sensations. The I, for most people, is what they're feeling, what they're thinking, how they're reacting to the world. So if everything's fine and dandy, they're doing great. If something doesn't go their way, they're down in the dumps. They don't realize all these sensations and thoughts were created in response to what's going on with the lower mind, the animalistic mind, the intellectual mind. And so until they're able to extract themselves and understand it, they're slaves to it. Now, the intuitive mind, you say, well, what's wrong with the intuitive mind? I can be that mind. Well, first of all, you're not. So you can try to be as much as you like, but you're not. It's just like when I put on my clothes, I can say I'm my clothes, but no matter what happens, they're still not the I. So look at it, the three minds are clothing that we put on to utilize. So even the intuitive mind, the spiritual mind, it's still not the I. Why is that important? So when you're doing your meditation, when you start experiencing all this oneness and all that stuff, you go, oh, that's great and wonderful and exciting, but you don't get attached to it. You say, well, what's wrong with being attached, experiencing that oneness? Because, as my teacher said, the inner world is a series of light and darkness. So in other words, as the Lord Buddha said, everything is subject to change. So if you're attached to, oh, I'm feeling good, I'm floating, I'm this, you keep doing meditation, and sometimes you experience something else, and you go, but I want that. But you're progressing. So the experience is different. No, I want that. What happens? You hit a wall. Because you start to identify even with the intuitive mind. When in reality, that intuitive mind is like a sensor that allows you to sense what's happening in that frequency. It is still not the I. It is your tool. You guys, okay, is this too cerebral? Probably this is too mental for you guys, huh? Overthinking, right? You see, here's the beautiful thing about it. Once you develop the ability to regulate your animalistic mind, your intellectual mind, and your intuitive mind, you get to extract yourself from it, observe its condition, and then come back and use them in order to understand the mind itself, and then use it as a springboard to experience the real I. And the next step is to experience that this real I is part of a universal I, which is true oneness, not artificial oneness, because it's a good feeling. Some of you go, wow, those standards are high. We don't do anything half-ass. My teacher's standards are very high. Even to this day, even though he's not in the physical body anymore, I can still feel the pull to keep going higher. I know some of you go, yeah, but it's never good enough. Well, people have a tendency to misunderstand what that means. And actually, sometimes when I talk to people, oh, I'm not good enough, and they start looking like, oh, yeah, I'm not good. Okay, that's not what it means. Not good enough means do not settle, because you're beyond that. You're better than that, so don't settle. That's what it is. In other words, keep raising that bar. So for me, growing up, growing up spiritually with my teacher, it's always been the case. He says, not good enough. You have to reach higher. How many students have you touched? Not good enough. So in my case, I didn't sit there and go, oh, I have low self-esteem. No, the way I understood it, the intellectual mind understood that he's trying to push me because he knows I'm capable of more. That's how you look at it. Don't go in self-pity. Oh, I'm not good. Look at it as a way to bring out your potential. Now that changes everything, doesn't it? Do not let your animalistic mind get better of you. That is what's happening when you go, yeah, people don't think I'm good enough. That's what happened. If you say, they think I'm not good enough, I'll show them I'm better because I can control this body, emotions, and thoughts. I can make my mind sharper. I can reach higher into the spiritual realm. Which one do you get ahead in life? Self-pity or self-propelling? You make the choice. While most people, what happens? They complain. Oh, yeah, I'm not good enough. But in reality, they're focusing on the negative rather than looking at the potential and using that negative to push them. It's just like anger. Always people say anger is bad. It depends on your perspective. If someone pisses you off, you have two choices. You can let them bring you down, or you can say, I'll show you I can do better. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, after this we'll meditate, promise. Many years ago, first of all, people ask me, hey, how come you work out, you exercise? Well, believe it or not, it is because of the animalistic mind that started it all. I remember showing up at the gym, and you're supposed to do all this body fat tests and all that stuff, right? And the trainer who's testing me says, he look at the BMI, body mass index and whatever else. He goes, hey man, you're obese. I'm going, what do you mean obese? It's like, yeah, maybe I have a little fat here and there, but what do you mean obese? Yeah, man, based on this, you're obese. So guess what? Temporarily, the soul lost control, and the animalistic mind took over. Oh yeah, you're calling me obese. I'll show you. Well, I didn't realize at that time that's how they get you to sign up for all these expensive training packages. Because by the time they tell you how terrible you are, you go, "I want to fix it." Well, which one wants to fix it? Is it the intellectual mind? No, the intellectual mind could care less. It's the animalistic mind says, "Oh yeah, I don't want to be fat, obese, and ugly, and all this stuff went through my head." I go, "No way, buddy." So what did I do? So I started feeling it, right? And then the I took over. Go, wait. Let me actually use this emotional pain, this feeling of not good enough physically, and use it to drive my body and bring my ass to the gym to work. Get the idea? So at that time, I actually extracted myself and say, yeah, man, you're insulting the economy. That's not going to pass. And I really felt the emotion, and I go, that's good. That's really good. Now I'm going to use that whenever the body's not motivated. I'll use that to kind of poke it. And the instinct in my, oh yeah, I'm not fat, I'm not obese. So what happens? The I doesn't have to try too hard. It'll drag the body to the gym and work out. At some point, guess what? It becomes a habit. Repeated thoughts and emotions form into habits. Repeated habits over time becomes virtues or vices, which is, in this case, became constancy and effort. And once you build that momentum, it's hard to stop. Well, guess what? It all started by that guy insulting me because he wanted to make a sale. And to this day, I thank him. So who made those choices? The I. So the question is this. This is the painful one. And I know a lot of you don't want to answer this question. I'll ask it for you. Who's the boss in your life? Is it your animalistic mind, your intellectual mind, your intuitive mind. Who's the boss? The answer is none of them. They are all instruments that belong to the I. They belong to you. You control and use them, not the other way around. I don't care what anybody says. People are going to say, yeah, but you don't understand. You know what I say to those people? Your life is a mess. Doesn't compute. Namaste. Whatever. I don't say that verbally. That goes to my head. So, that's that. I mean, everybody's a genius. Everybody always wants to give their advice. First thing you do is look at their life. If their life is a mess, you go, well, my intellectual mind is calculating. Things don't compute. You claim to know everything, but your life is a mess. So, okay. Whatever. Let's move on. Get the idea? We're not nasty. We're not bad. But I'm speaking to you directly so that you get to be aware. So the secret is as simple as this. It's the sequence. Then we'll meditate. First, you become mindless. I think you don't let any of your minds become the I in how you deal with the world. In other words, I'm not the I. I'm not the I. I'm not the animalistic mind. I'm not the intellectual mind. I'm not the intuitive mind. These are not the I. So you extract yourself. Observe. That's the only way you can tell which one is trying to control the I. Once you're able to do that, then you decide, okay, I'm going to use the animalistic mind to push my body to be healthier. I'm going to use the animalistic mind in order to get things done that normally requires lots of physical energy. I'm going to use the intellectual mind so I can understand deeper teachings. I can use it to understand economy. I can use it to understand money and how to use it to be able to make that part of my life better. I'm going to use my intuitive and spiritual mind to perceive the inner worlds, the spiritual world, so I can sense that oneness, use it to be part of my life. Done. Finished. You go, oh, wow, that's great. Here's the most important part. When you're going to practice and sustainability, can you remember to practice it when you need it? Now, are we going to screw up? Of course. All of us do. I mean, how many times I look back and go, I should know better. Have you had that word before? Well, guess what? That's telling you that the I, the soul, was able to extract and realize it and go, man, I shouldn't have done that. Which is good because at that point, you were able to regain control over the body, the emotion, the thought, the animalistic mind, intellectual mind, intuitive mind, be able to observe it. Then you go, okay, and make a course correction. So here's my question to you. How much is this lesson worth to you? Do you realize if the population, the general population, knows it and live by this, the world will change? Yeah, but how come people don't do it? Because it requires effort. Most people are lazy. They feel entitled. Me, instead of I have to strive to be here. No, they think I'm this, people have to do this to me, I'm entitled to this and that. You just look at the Instagram and Facebook posts. Everything's about me, I'm gonna get this, I'm entitled to that. So nothing wrong with understanding you're entitled to certain things, right? But that mindset is contrary to the I striving to be better. If you say, well, I'm entitled to whatever my body weight is, my body commitment, well, there it is, so I'll just let this be. I'll just stuff myself with cookies and chips and everything else because they have to take me as I am. It's good that people take you as you are, but you have to raise your own standards. Because as you raise your standards, guess what you're doing? What you're doing is you're making the body, well, making the animalistic, intellectual, and intuitive mind be under your control. Without that, basically the bag of thoughts, emotions, and all these sensations, which is basically like waves in the ocean, will toss you everywhere and eventually slap your face onto something hard. You go, ouch. Because you were never in control. Because you choose not to. Nobody in their right mind will jump into the ocean, go on a boat in the ocean with no motor and no rudder, no GPS, no anything. Just go to, okay, I'll let the universe take over. Yeah, right. So if you won't do it out there, why wouldn't you do it in your everyday life? Who's in control? Now some of you go, man, this is so mental. Yeah, because the minute you put your emotions to it, it becomes muddy. Have you ever tried talking to someone who's emotionally upset and trying to reason with them? How far have you gone? Nowhere. You're talking in different frequencies. That person's emotionally upset, they're run by the animalistic mind. And they're using the intellectual mind to rationalize being pissed off with you and not listening to what you're saying. Do you notice that when things calm down and you finally have a conversation, you get somewhere? So just imagine a general population that's run by social media, by the news and whatever. They're run by the animalistic mind. Just look at different countries. Elections, what do? They appeal to the mass fear. They appeal to mass hysteria. Because most people have not yet developed the ability, look at me, to extract itself from the three minds and to be able to come back and control them. That's that. Shall we? To the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, we thank you for the blessings. To all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers. To my beloved teacher, Master Chokhok Sui Mahagu Jumeling, thank you for the blessings, the wisdom, guidance, help, and protection. Thank you. In full faith, so be it. Okay, take your left hand, tap your heart center. Take your right hand, tap your crown. Raise your hand like this. We'll do a short meditation between hearts as taught to us by my teacher, Grandmaster Chokhok Sui. Visualize the earth in front of you. Be aware of your heart and your hands. Flood the earth with beautiful pink light. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Wherever there's hatred anywhere in the world, anywhere, whether it's in my home, my work, my field of influence and acquaintances, city, state, country, anywhere in the world, let me sow unconditional love. Where there's injury, let me sow pardon and forgiveness. To whoever I've hurt, in however way I've hurt you, I'm very, very sorry. I've learned from my mistakes. I humbly ask for your forgiveness. And I also forgive myself. To all who have hurt me, we are all children of God. We are all growing and evolving. And evolution involves time, process, and lots of stupid mistakes. I've had my share of mistakes and learned from them. To all who have hurt me, you can also learn from yours. I wish you love, joy, and peace. You are completely forgiven. Go in peace. I forgive you and I release you. So be it. Cut. Where there's doubt, let me sow faith. Where there's despair, let me sow hope. Think of all the people in the world who are going through challenging times, and let's pay special attention to India, Brazil, and different parts of the world. You know, you're all from different parts. You know places where it's still being crippled by the COVID virus. Bless all these people with hope and with faith and a better tomorrow. May they be blessed with hope, with strength. May they be blessed with the resources and the leadership to take them out of suffering. So be it. So be it. So be it. Where there's darkness, let me sow light. Darkness is the absence of spiritual light, the absence of the knowing, the I, is within, that controls the body, the emotions, the animalistic mind, intellectual mind, and spiritual mind. Let there be spiritual light to awaken people to their true nature. And where there is sadness, let me sow a tremendous amount of joy. Be aware of your heart and your hands. May all be blessed with peace, with love, with the spirit of forgiveness, with hope and with faith, with light and joy. So be it. So be it. So be it. Now be aware of your heart. Take a deep breath. Be aware of your crown and exhale. Be aware of your crown. Say, our souls are one, our spirits are one. There's only oneness. From the heart of God, through my soul, through my entire being, may every person, every being on earth be blessed with love and kindness. Let it start in my home, my workplace, my city, state, country, and let this peace, love, and kindness spread from me outwardly to the world. Let it start with me. Let it start the I. So be it. From the heart of God, may all be blessed with peace, love. May all be blessed with great joy, with happiness, with harmony, with understanding and divine peace. Blessings be to all. So be it. So be it. So be it. So it is. Now be aware of your heart and your crown. Take a deep breath. Project golden light to the entire earth, brighter than before. Say, our souls are one, our spirits are one. From the center of the heart of God, through my soul, through my entire being. May every person, every being in the higher worlds, middle worlds, even the lower worlds, let all sentient beings in every dimension, every direction, above and below. In other words, let all beings be blessed with God's unconditional love and kindness. Let all be blessed with inner peace, inner healing, and at this time for many, especially India, Brazil, and different parts of the world affected by COVID, be blessed with physical healing, emotional healing, and for many, financial healing. So it is. From the center of the heart of God, may all be blessed with goodwill and the willingness to do good. Let goodwill and the willingness to do good awaken in every soul, and know that we're all interconnected. Thus, as one soul suffers, the entire humanity suffers. Let there be peace, love, and kindness to all. So be it. Let us uplift every person, every being in the entire earth. So it is. So it is. Now put your hands down. Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Keep your tongue on your palate. Imagine a golden light, a golden flame, a golden star just floating above your head. Be aware of the love within your heart. Send a stream of love from your heart up to the center of your head. Be still. To your crown. Past your crown. And into that golden light now. And stay there. Allow your entire being to simply melt into that golden light. Remember who you really are. The I within. And it's the I that's listening, and it's the I that is chanting. Om. 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 Be still. Be aware of your true nature, the pure energy within, pure nothingness. Be still and let go. Now, any sound, any noise you hear will just gently propel you deeper and deeper into that inner stillness, inner peace. Now, let go. Strip away the body, the emotions, the thoughts. Strip away the animalistic mind and all its sensations. Strip away the intellectual mind and all its sensations. Strip away the intuitive mind, the spiritual mind. What is left? The I, the real you, the I within. Go back to the center now. Be still and realize the I. I am that. Gently, slowly, come back to your physical body. Gently move your fingers and toes. Gently and slowly slide back to your physical body now. Raise your hands in blessing again. Let's release the excess energy our bodies cannot absorb. Visualize the earth in front of you. Think of all the people who need a blessing. Flood them with golden light. May all be blessed with good health, especially the ones who are sick. If you know someone who's in the hospital or been affected by some illness or with COVID, may they be blessed with good health, with physical healing, emotional healing, even mental healing. So be it. And financial healing. May all be blessed with good health, with happiness, with relationship healing, emotional healing. Good health, happiness, abundance, and prosperity. May all be blessed with financial healing. May all be blessed with spirituality, realization of the true self, and realization of oneness with all. So be it. So be it, and so it is. Now aim your hands down, project golden light down into the earth. Be aware of your feet, your hands, and the base of your spine. Project golden light down into the earth. Let our beloved Mother Earth be blessed with divine light, divine love, and divine power. Let our beloved Mother Earth be healed, regenerated, and revitalized. Blessings be to Mother Earth. So be it. So be it. And so it is. So it is. Let's give thanks to the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother. Thank you. To all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, and spiritual helpers. Personally, to my teacher, Master Chokok Sui Mahagujime, thank you for the immense blessings in full faith. So it is. All right. Wow, that's longer than I expected. Of course, we had a little false start there at the start. Have to work with whatever I have. But anyway, so I hope this lesson today impacted your life somehow, and you just try practicing it. Just be the observer, the one to realize, what's taking over? Is it the animalistic mind, the intuitive mind, or the intellectual mind? The fact that you can observe it, it gives your ability to regulate it back to the I. That is what the Lord Buddha calls being awake, while most people are asleep to the I. That's that. That lesson alone will make massive changes in your life. That's why this year we're going to come up with a course that will help everyone, the I Am Project. Mastery through the real self. This is just a small part of those lessons, because if you can know it and are given techniques to practice it on a regular basis, you'll be shocked at what happens in your life. Like, you can literally observe and see something happening, just like looking at someone's mind, but it's your own, and be able to regulate it. Okay, so we will see tonight in 7 hours for Anchor the Light tonight, and we'll take this and go deeper. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for your patience, for the technological glitches out here and there, but we'll get it done. Constancy of aim and effort. You cannot stop by charging a rhinoceros. Yeah? Namaste. Take good care. God bless.